And turning much colder tonight. Clouds early will give way to some clearing late, though 25, although AccuWeather the real field temperatures plummet toward 10. Tomorrow mostly sunny, a cold breeze, high 40. Saturday partly sunny, breezy, and not nearly so cold in the afternoon, high 56. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Currently raining, 56 degrees, feels like 43 in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
This report is sponsored by McKelvey Homes.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan at McKelvey Homes. Have you always wished for a brand new home in an established neighborhood? Select one of our move-in ready custom homes throughout St. Louis, or we will build on your lot. Visit McKelveyHomes.com and move up to McKelvey.
This is the Gashouse Gang on 104.1 FM KMOX. Sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin comfort dealer. Now, the Gashouse Gang on KMOX.
Until 1 o'clock today, and every day the Gashouse Gang happens from 12 until 1. We appreciate you being a part. You can text and call at 314-436-7900. You can watch the show on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. We are at KMOX Sports on Twitter, if you would like to. Bernie Miklasz is on the show today, again, brought to you by Daikin, the Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin dealer, and he is with us. I'm Chris Ranji, and Bernie, we will talk to Mike Kelly at 12:30 about Bo Pribula, who has announced he is leaving Mizzou. He's going to enter the transfer portal, and he will not play in the Gator Bowl for the Tigers. And prior to that, Sam Dykstra will talk Cardinals prospects with us. But we did have a press conference. Well, it started about an hour ago. Dustin May officially announced as a member of the Cardinals rotation. And one of the funny things that happened was he wanted number 85, and then he found out 85 is retired by the Cardinals, which is not a very common number to have retired on a baseball team.
Gussie Busch.
Yeah,
that was it. Was that's what it was, because 1985 was, I think, their last National League pennant while he was still alive, and so they gave him that honor, which I thought was pretty cool at the time. But now that you look back at it, it is kind of like, wait a minute, what? 85? What? You have to stop and think about it. So. No, it was good to see him and hear from him, and also Chaim Bloom, and I wrote Monday something that frankly, this sounds kind of arrogant, and I apologize, but I wrote Monday that everybody is pretty much missing what really happened with him last season, which was after that horrendous esophagus tear in his throat, which was a major surgery, and he was in a lot of trouble. And if he hadn't gotten to the hospital in time, he could have died. It was that bad. He stayed in the hospital for a couple of weeks. I mean, it was a serious thing. And he lost 40 to 45 pounds. And as much as he tried to get all of the weight put and the strength put back on and restored, he wasn't really ready. By the time he got to spring training, he was still a lot lighter and a lot weaker than he wanted to be. And I looked at the numbers and found that, like when he was went through the lineup the first time in his starts, he was really good. But as it got deeper into games, progressively worse. So what I wrote is don't look at the ERA, understand the context of his season. The guy was way less than full strength trying to pitch, and he didn't have enough weight, and he didn't have enough strength, and he was very vulnerable, and he lacked stamina for his stuff to last over more than 3 or 4 innings. And so that explains a lot. And to me, the most meaningful thing coming out of that Zoom call today was that he said he should be back up to his normal weight of 225 by spring training. He's close to it now. So the Cardinals, and he said he's been working on his strength. So the Cardinals will be getting a full strength up to his normal weight version of Dustin May. And I think that's actually a really big deal. And I was happy that I put that out there Monday on a video and also a column. And I was glad that they talked about that Dustin May talked about that today, because that was the story that had not been told.
And it's
frankly.
It's context is incredibly important here, because you might just look at the ERA and go, Why did we do that? It's a 1-year, $12.5 million deal. And as you say, Bernie, everything that you just laid out, this could end up being a really good pickup for them, even if it is only for 1 year. And honestly, it's almost like it's like the perfect kind of signing that the Cardinals need at this point of their history, because they are in a transitional period. Why not pick up somebody who is trying to reclaim his career in the way that Dustin May is trying to?
Mm-hmm. And he's got a lot of talent. Now, his sinker ball pitch, he throws 94 and a half miles an hour. That average is down from where it was. But again, this is a guy that was, relative to his past, he was a physically weaker pitcher and he didn't have stamina. But he also had that sinker that had incredible movement, side to side, horizontal movement. But for some reason, hitters just destroyed it. I got to believe Chaim Bloom and, Matt Pierpont, who's their director of pitching, and others said, you know what, we see what the issue is here. We can fix this. And they might have to get him to throw his four-seam fastball one. But the point is, there is no question that he has a lot of upside. I mean, even last year when he pitched in a weakened state, he made 23 starts and he pitched 130-some innings. It was like the most he had pitched in years. And in 17 of his starts that were above average or about average, 17 of his starts, he had a 3.30 ERA. And then he had 6 bad starts, which just kind of distorted everything. But he actually, all things considered, the lack of strength, lack of stamina, coming back, all things considered, he actually did a lot of good pitching last season, although the season-ending ERA doesn't show that. But it's there. You just got to go look for it.
Yeah, there's a real prove-it aspect to what's about to happen here with Dustin May now in the rotation. We don't know exactly where he's going to fit in the rotation, but he is in it. He threw, as you said, about 130 or so innings last year. So I guess reasonably we could expect him to get up to 160, 170 if they're lucky, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because he'll be at full strength. And I really trust that, after having one elbow surgery to repair a torn ACL, then the next one was his what is it, the UCL?
UCL,
yeah. So then he tore the other elbow ligament, and that really has not been an issue the last couple of years. I mean, he could not pitch. He had that horrendous esophageal tear, which really took him out of 24, but also took him out of it limited him what he could do in 2025. I mean, the elbow stuff's behind him. I mean, there's always a chance it would happen again, but I think he's, knock on wood, I think he's going to be in really good pitching health in 2026. And if something goes wrong, well, that's the risk that the Cardinals knew they were taking, that he could have another injury, but their liability is limited. It's 1 year. In other words, this isn't some long-term deal where if his elbow blows up again, they're stuck having to pay him for 3 or 4 years. If there is liability, it would only be in terms of injury, it would only be for 1 season. So they really don't have that much to lose, except $12 million. But in today's baseball economy, starting pitching, that's not much, and especially with their payroll being as low as it is.
It's a very intriguing signing, looking to see how it works out and what they're able to acquire in addition to this, because it does sound like they may not quite be done with how they're going to approach the rotation, but there are a lot of questions about that, and hopefully we'll get answered fairly soon here. Bernie Miklasz, Chris Ranji on the Gashouse Gang. When we come back, we're going to talk prospects. We'll talk Cardinals prospects with Sam Dykstra, who covers minor league baseball, and Sam will join us next on the Gashouse Gang on KMOX.
Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original, present 100 years of KMOX.
The threat of a pandemic has become
There when the world stood still.
My aunt and uncle got COVID.
We are averaging about 275 to 300 new cases per day right now.
The St. Charles County Health Department reports a positivity rate as high as 24%.
So in the meantime, we focus on treatments. What's the range of treatments being offered for COVID-19?
The vast majority of things is what we would call supportive care.
People are weary of loss, sacrifice, and inconvenience. They want to feel safe, to see loved ones again, and to get back to the things they enjoy.
The light at the end of the pandemic tunnel means hugging and kissing my mother again for the first time in 10 months.
There for every headline, every heartbreak, every heartbeat. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Tom Ackerman here for Busey Bank, recognizing the Guardian Angel Settlement Association as a building community partner. Guardian Angel serves under-resourced community members, helping them take the first step on the path to possible. They assist over 5,000 individuals in our community through their early childhood education and social stability programs. To learn more about Guardian Angel, Google Guardian Angel STL. Busey Bank encourages you to get involved. Together, we can build community.
This is Pat Buring, Executive Vice President at Busey Bank. At Busey, community and giving back are at the heart of everything we do. We're more than a bank. We're your neighbors and your partners. We take pride in engaging with the communities we serve and building lasting relationships, because our commitment to strengthening our communities is a top priority. Whether you're shopping local or giving back through volunteerism, every little bit counts. Join us at Busey Bank as we continue building the communities we call home.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
SNL Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold-filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call SNL. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. SNL Coin.
Great news, Nick. Legacy boxes are still in stock. With Christmas just around the corner, there's still time to buy the best Christmas gift ever. Legacy Box.
That's right, Adam. Order today and Legacy Box ships immediately. It'll arrive ready to wrap and place under the tree.
Gather the family together this Christmas and collect all your old VHS and camcorder tapes, slides, pictures, and film reels. Then you can binge on the good old days.
From fading over time to risks like fire and water damage, your memories aren't protected unless they're on a digital format. Legacy Box helps you replay those great moments from the past, from Christmas morning to your wedding day.
Legacy Box is the world's largest digitizer of home movies and photos. All the work is done right here in the USA, and over 1 million customers have trusted Legacy Box.
This Christmas is the time to digitize. Visit legacybox.com/value for exclusive holiday savings. That's legacybox.com/value for last-minute shopping. legacybox.com/value.
Hi, I'm Ryan Recker. You may remember me from such shows as that one after the Cardinals game, also known as Overnight America. 100 years is a great accomplishment with a lot of fantastic moments. Congrats, and here's to the memories.
And Liam Doyle saying, let's go. He doesn't want his infielders.
That. I absolutely love that. Don't talk to me.
Man, I love it. Liam Doyle appears to be a gigantic lunatic, and he belongs to the St. Louis Cardinals. He is their number 2 overall prospect, according to, well, it depends on where you look. And we are now joined by Sam Dykstra, who covers minor league baseball for MLB Pipeline. You can follow them on Twitter at MLB Pipeline. Sam Dykstra is on Twitter at Sam Dykstra, MILB. How's it going, Sam? Thank you for being with us today.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. All good here.
You guys do a great job, man. And I tell you what, now that the Cardinals are rebuilding, not that I didn't pay close attention to MLB Pipeline, but I'm paying even more closer attention to it now with Chaim Bloom on a hunt for as many prospects as he can find. And the same is true with some of the other sites that do a good job. But how do you think the Cardinals are doing, just in generally speaking, with their player development and some of the early changes, the big changes they've made, and Chaim Bloom taking over? Have you noticed any differences yet? And what is the state of the Cardinals farm and player development system, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think, some of the moves that they've made, bringing in Liam Doyle, when you have the 5th overall pick, I mean, you're going to have a pretty good depth of options to take there, but taking somebody with his ceiling, with that really, really good fastball, with that fiery approach and that, long run of college success, being the 2025 SEC Pitcher of the Year, that was a nice swing on some upside there. Then you go out and get Brandon Clark, in that Sonny Gray trade. That's another swing on upside. I know he was injured. He had a lot of blisters last year and made things difficult to deal with, but you add upside to the system, and that's what this group needs. Like, if you are going to have that focus on the minor leagues, you need high ceiling talent, because only a few of those are going to break through, but the more you can get, the more potential superstars you have. I don't know if Brandon Clark is necessarily a potential superstar, but J.J. Weatherholt is, Liam Doyle is, even Raniel Rodriguez is. And to see him take those steps last year, come over stateside, move quickly into single A ball and continue to hit the ball with power, that was really promising and takes the system to another level. Credit the new group of player development for allowing him to do that and really tap into his skills. I think that's one thing that the new group is doing better maybe than the previous regime. It was usually, hey, the Cardinal way is the Cardinal way. Now it's, who are you as a prospect? How can we draw the best tools out of you? And we're starting to see some of those flowers bloom here in the last year.
If I just a quick follow-up, Chris, because there's another guy, that I think is got pretty exciting potential and is coming on strong, is Joshua Baez, the outfielder who can steal bases and hit home runs. Is he on a fast track in your opinion? I know this will be a big season for him. He's got to take what he did at AA and maybe repeat it at AAA, but tell us what his potential is in your eyes, Sam.
Yeah, Josh Baez is somebody, we're putting together our list for right now for the 2026 season. I know he's number 12 on our site right now. He's going to be jumping up significantly from there. When we do our update, you can see him a little earlier when we do our top 100. He was just somebody for a few years there that had significant strikeout issues. You look at what his K rate was a year ago, it was 35.5%. That was down to 20.6 last year. When you look at some of his video next to each other, there was just so much movement in his swing. He was a lot more efficient in 2025. The power has always been there. He's a huge guy. You mentioned the speed. It's a little bit surprising for somebody who's 6'3", 220 that he can steal 50-plus bags. But his ceiling is now significantly better than it was, because it was trending towards maybe a 30 hit tool at best. Now we're getting closer to the 45-50 range, given how well he's improved bat to ball skills. I won't say he's on the fast track, because this is somebody who was taken in the 2021 draft. It's taken him a while to get to this point, but he's a pretty good example of, you can't just give up on players because they're, swinging and missing a lot early in their careers. Those are correctable mistakes. And I guarantee you, there's going to be a lot of meetings this spring, in Jupiter at the Cardinals facility of guys who have struggled in the past, and they're going to be pointing to Josh Baez and being like, this is the guy who turned it around. You could be the next one. Just follow our example, trust what we're teaching you, and you could be like him. He's going to be a shining example for so many other Cardinals minor leaguers.
Sam Dykstra covers the minor leagues for MLB Pipeline. And, when we talk about teams that draft based on high upside versus safer picks, guys that they think might make it to the big leagues fairly quickly, but there's a ceiling, and they're only going to be so good, but they can contribute. How different is it for a team to do what we think the Cardinals are doing right now, and that is draft or trade for the higher upside guys, but also higher risk? Is it really that unusual in baseball right now?
It varies organization to organization. It also depends on where you are in your contention window. We just saw the Red Sox and Nationals make an interesting swap for Jake Bennett and Luis Perales. Luis Perales being the ceiling guy, Jake Bennett being the floor guy. The Red Sox get the floor guy who can add to their starting pitching depth pretty quickly. The Nationals, who I will put in the same bucket as the Cardinals, going for some upside and getting Luis Perales, who could be a number 2 starter, but could end up being a reliever because the control isn't there. It all depends on what you're aiming to do, how you're trying to acquire talent. Is it going to be to help the major league team in the next season, or is it going to be to help further down the line? Right now, the Cardinals are clearly in long-term mode. And when you're in long-term mode, I would take as many big swings as you can, because those are just lottery tickets. And all it takes is 1 or 2 of those to hit. Safer bets are fine to make if you are just trying to fill holes on a roster. But if you have tons of holes and you're trying to build around somebody like a Mason Wynn or some of the other pieces that they have, take those bigger swings. That's how you're going to get a J.J. Weatherholt, who wasn't, I won't say was a safe pick, but there is some upside there. He was getting talked about 1-1 a year ago, and now you have to find a spot for him. That's a good problem to have. You want those good problems. Right now, the Cardinals don't have them, but the more prospects they pick up, those will pick up as well, those good problems.
Sam Dykstra with us from MLB Pipeline, does a great job. That whole crew there does. I wanted to ask you about, it's really hard to try to, because we get to ask this a lot by Cardinals fans, and understandably so. Like, how long will this rebuild take before they're, good again, maybe contending as in, making the playoffs? I can't put an estimate on it, but with all of given the great job that Chaim Bloom did in Boston in rebuilding their player development system and draft, and all of the young talent he brought in there, and they're starting to do it again. I know that everyone's going to have a different arrival time, but do you think with the prospects they are collecting, and a lot of them have high upside, will that accelerate the time it'll take to rebuild this thing? What's your view of that? And I'm sorry for the long question.
Oh, no, it's fine. No, I hear you. It's interesting. I think, obviously you guys have heard about Brendan Donovan trade rumors being out there. And I think who they get back for that is going to be very telling, because getting Clark from the Red Sox, Clark, as much as I like him right now as a pitcher, he's probably a year or two away. You really want him to be healthy this year. I don't project him to make St. Louis this season, but Brendan Donovan's going to bring back a pretty good haul. Is it going to be guys who are close to the majors, or do you get more of those upside guys who are in single A or high A? I think that's going to be pretty telling as it is. But you look at going back to that draft we were talking about before, getting Liam Doyle at 5, he could be a pretty quick mover. He could be on that J.J. Weatherholt track, and I think even beat Weatherholt, not to the majors necessarily, but in terms of getting there earlier in his career, because Weatherholt had Wynn blocking him. He had Donovan blocking him. He had, for better or worse, Arenado blocking him at third base. I don't think anybody's going to block Liam Doyle. So the fact that they took him, he can be on that accelerated timeline. What other prospects they add is going to be kind of telling to us. Do they think they are a year out and that it's just going to be a down year in 2026 and you go for it in 2027, or are they building for 2028? I think we're going to get some answers here in the next few weeks as the Donovan trade rumors pick up and hopefully a transaction happens.
We mentioned Liam Doyle right at the start, played a highlight of his, and if anybody's watched him pitch at Tennessee, he's a bit of a psycho, man, but in a good way. He's a fun pitcher to watch, but that is him as a young guy. Does that kind of attitude, does that sort of thing continue on as he's in the minor leagues and then, eventually makes it to the big leagues, do you think?
I think it's tougher to be fiery over a 162-game season compared to a spring schedule where you're the Friday night starter, right? You're pitching once a week for a few months. That being said, the Cardinals are doing their homework on Liam Doyle. They are not taking him and be like, well, I think we can fix him. I think you want the fiery version of Liam Doyle. Otherwise, you take one of the many other options that they could have gotten there at the 5th spot. I think that fiery side to him is something you're buying into. The fact that the fastball plays especially well, it kind of matches his personality, right? It's explosive up in the zone. It can touch triple digits. Anything they can do to squeeze that stuff out of him, and if it means he gets a little, yelling off the mound every now and again, I think you take that. You maybe have a conversation in the spring of just being like, hey, let's not get overly excited about a third-inning strikeout in April. But they know who they're getting, and they're going to want the best version of Liam Doyle, and if that's somebody who's getting super excited for blowing 98, past a guy at the top of the zone to end an inning, that's totally fine if it keeps the stuff coming.
Sam, not to put you on the spot, man, and I'm not trying to turn you into a general manager, but if you look at the Cardinals and Brendan Donovan, and to me, the most intriguing potential trade partner is Seattle, because they have a lot of young talent. They have young pitching talent. They've got a young power hitter that's just turned 21 who might be in play. But as you look at the Seattle prospect list, who do you think on that list that the Mariners front office would say, no, we just can't do that? And do you think the Cardinals could pull a couple of really good prospects from Seattle, even if they don't get exactly what they want? Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, no, it's fine. Like the Mariners system right now is one I would call top heavy because they have 7 top 100 prospects right now. Felman Celestin, who's their number 8 prospect, used to be on the top 100. Luke Stevenson, their first rounder, who's number 9 right now on our list, I think could be a future top 100 guy. He's really good fielder. He's got a strong arm behind the plate, and he's got some pop from the left-hand side. So there's a really good 1 through 9 here. It drops off pretty significantly for me after that. If you could maybe get 2 of those guys, I think it helps. Now, if you're talking about like getting a Lazaro Montes and a lower prospect, I could see that working as well. Montes is the one who you're talking about there, 21 years old, I'm assuming, 6'5", left-handed bat, extreme power profile. But he's also going to swing and miss a lot, and he's going to be a corner guy. This guy is somebody who should never see center field. I still have some questions about him defensively. You're 100% buying the power there. It'd be an interesting time to buy it because I think there's still going to need to be some tweaks to make sure that he's getting the most out of that power. But sometimes when you hit the ball as hard as he does, you can live with some swing and miss because when he does make contact, it's going to fly through the infield, even if it's at a low angle. So I think there's some pieces here to make it work with Seattle. It's going to come down to Jerry Dipoto. Jerry Dipoto obviously loves to make trades. He makes them all the time. We feel like he gets itchy if he hasn't made one in a little bit, and he traded away a prospect in Harry Ford to the Nationals, so he's clearly willing to dip into some depth here. But I'd be interested to see how many of these top 100 prospects they could pry. And again, it's going to be telling. Like Montez has some Double-A experience, but he's not knocking on the door in a way Harry Ford did. Ryan Sloan, who's an arm I really like from the Mariners, is somebody with some high-A experience, but nothing in the upper minors. Are the Cardinals okay with living with that if they get the upside? We'll see. There's nobody else here. I don't think they're going to get Colt Emerson, who's somebody who could be in the major leagues in the first half of next year. Cade Anderson, the number 1 pick for the Mariners last year, I don't see him being available. He was the 3rd overall pick. Obviously, the Mariners love him. Anything below that, I think, could be in play, and you might just get the Mariners at a good time where they're trying to get over that hump. They were so close last year. Whatever they can do to make it work, trading off some pieces, it might be the right time for the Cardinals to swoop.
Sam, thank you for your time today. Appreciate the information.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Sam Dykstra covers minor league baseball for MLB Pipeline. Joining us here on the Gashouse Gang, got Bernie Miklasz, another half hour to go. When we come back, Bo Prabula has announced he is leaving Mizzou. The quarterback is entering the portal, so that means he will not participate in the Gator Bowl. We'll get Mike Kelly's thoughts. Mike is the play-by-play voice of the Tigers, and he is next on the Gashouse Gang, brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, SaligaHeatingandCooling.com.
Start your day with an edge.
Total Information AM.
It's like breakfast for your brain. I wake up, I turn on the news.
I gotta listen 3 or 4 times every day.
Debbie Monterey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman.
I like to wake up with the news.
Total Information AM.
It's where I get my news. Traffic conditions and potential weather that's coming.
Total Information AM. Weekdays 5 to 9.
I like to turn it on and just get caught up.
Where I get my news. The news, weather, and traffic.
On the voice of St. Louis, KMOX. Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
There's rain in the area, 54 degrees. The high will be 57. A wind advisory is in effect now as well.
Brought to you by Eamon Gantner and Capriano, YourEstateMatters.com. Hi, Margaret with Eamon Gantner and Capriano. Life happens. Accidents, deaths. Make your estate plan now, or the courts will decide for you later. Eamon Gantner and Capriano, YourEstateMatters.com.
The choice of an attorney is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
Hey, St. Louis City SC fans, mark your calendars now. The Boys in Red return to Energizer Park to kick off Season 4 Saturday, February 21st. And you could be there for the dawn of a new golden era of St. Louis soccer. Go to stlcitysc.com/tickets and reserve your seat now for the MLS home opener versus Charlotte FC. Limited quantities remain. See you soon, St. Louis.
Thinking about a bath remodel or swapping that old tub for a sleek, easy-to-clean shower? Glover here for Michael's Baths with one question: what is there even to think about? Michael's beats the competition by 30 to 50%, uses top-quality materials, and backs it with over 30 years of experience, and now they'll throw in a free shower door or $500 off. Schedule a free in-home consultation, 636-775-0800, michaelsbaths.com. That's michaelsbaths.com.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. This Christmas holiday, enjoy exclusive savings on our high-quality rechargeable hearing aids. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and shop Christmas holiday deals before they're gone at audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
How many of you think taxes will go up in the future? And if they do, who will get hit the hardest? Maybe it's you, headed for retirement. You've been saving in that 401k or IRA for years, and that money has never been taxed. And Uncle Sam is looking at that account like it's a big, juicy steak. What can you do about it? Join the All Financial Group for their Taxes in Retirement Seminar, Thursday, January 22nd or Tuesday the 27th. They believe a financial plan is not a retirement plan without a tax plan. Reserve your spot today by calling 636-230-8824. That's 636-230-8824. Or go to yourmoneymattersstl.com. Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents nor representatives may offer tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with their qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions.
The Dave Glover Show is excited to partner with Hardee's and Operation Food Search for their holiday food drive. Dave and the crew will be out at Hardee's in St. Peter's on Friday, December 19th, starting at 1 p.m. All donations benefit Operation Food Search to help children and families facing food insecurities. The Dave Glover Show, Hardee's and Operation Food Search, and the Holiday Food Drive. Get all the details about the campaign, or to make a donation online, head to KMOX.com/events.
Now back to the Gashouse Gang, sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling on 104.1 FM KMOX.
We got the news, about an hour, maybe 2 hours ago, that Bo Pribula has decided to enter the transfer portal, so he will no longer be the quarterback at Mizzou, and he will not participate in the upcoming Gator Bowl. To discuss that situation with us, Bernie Miklasz and Chris Ranji on the Gashouse Gang, we got the play-by-play voice of the Tigers, Mike Kelly, with us on KMOX. How's it going, Mike?
Good, Chris. How are you guys?
We're doing okay. So is this news surprising? And if it is, what are your thoughts?
Chris, I think in this era of college athletics in which we live, I'm never surprised when a player enters the transfer portal. I'm just not, because there's a variety of different things that probably go into that decision. Is it a matter of, I want more playing time? Is it a matter of, I need more money? Is it a matter of, I've been told I'm going to take a pay cut to make more money available for the guy who's going to take my place as the starter? I think all those factors are very realistic in the times in which we live. And so, honestly, I've heard rumblings throughout the second part of the season that Bo Pribula would not be at Missouri next year. And so, yeah, I'm not really surprised that he's put his name in the portal.
Mike, Bernie Miklasz, always
Hi,
a
buddy.
delight to have you on with. Yeah, man. Merry Christmas to you and your family, and Happy New Year and all that. We probably won't get a chance to talk to you before then. All right, here's my question. this puts Coach Drink in an interesting situation because, number one, we know that he's very, very high on Matt Zollers, as he should be. But does he go, and do you think, what are the chances Drink would go into the portal to get someone that would compete for the starting job or someone that he would view as a solid backup? And I know it's tough for you to speculate, but they're going to have to address the quarterback situation from the outside to some extent, right?
No, I agree. I think if anything, let's keep this in mind. Missouri's offense has had a turnover in 11 consecutive games. The only game Missouri didn't turn the ball over from an offensive standpoint was in the opener against Central Arkansas. Bo Perbula had a turnover in 7 of the 9 games in which he played. 2 interceptions against Alabama, 2 interceptions against Auburn, 2 interceptions against Oklahoma. I think the thing that maybe the lesson underlying, as I see it, at least from my point of view, is, moving forward, does Drink change the way he approaches the transfer portal with a quarterback, and in the future, do you take a quarterback with no starting experience? And maybe that depends on money you have available and what you have currently in-house. There's no question that Matt Zollers is the quarterback of the future at Missouri. This whole thing could have been as simple as, you know what, Bo, Matt's the future. You're going to take a pay cut because we have to be able to keep Matt Zollers on our roster. That's as simple as it could be. But then I think you have to look and say, okay, who am I bringing in as a freshman? We all know that most freshmen aren't ready to play right away, particularly at that position. Just so many different things that come into play to playing quarterback in a Power 4 conference, particularly in the SEC. And so, I think you're going to have to dive back into the portal to build depth at that position.
I never fault players for opting out of bowl games that aren't playoff games if they, have legitimate draft hopes or they're going to be top picks and they know that and they just don't want to risk that before they enter the draft. I really don't ever have any issue with that, but there is something that's a bit unsettling with being able to transfer before a bowl game happens. Is the system the way it is now? Does it need to be fixed in some way?
Absolutely. The calendar is completely a mess. And I think the other thing too is that I have no issue with student athletes getting paid, none whatsoever. But I think what we've done is that we've gone from, the pendulum has shifted all the way to where, back in the days of our friend Dan Deerdorf, when he used to say the college football player was the only guy on campus who had a full-time job but couldn't get paid for it. Right. And I'm paraphrasing what I once heard Dan say on Sports Open Line back in the day. So now we've gone from that example to the pendulum has completely swung all the way over to now the players have all the power for the most part, right? They can transfer as many times as they want to. It seems like they can make decisions to leave whenever they want to. Their agents are constantly fielding calls from a variety of different people saying, hey, you may be making X, but we'll pay you X if you'll come and join our roster. And so I think with the current model that we're living under, Chris, is completely unsustainable moving forward. And I'll just throw another thing out there for you guys. In this day and age, right, where you've got the revenue distribution and schools have got to come up with the extra $20 million plus each and every year, and you're looking for third-party NIL. Let me ask you this question. Like, for an organization, for a corporation, or for an individual donor, where's your return on investment in NIL? Ego? Is that simply what it is? Does company X sell, more screwdrivers because they attach their name to a student athlete someplace? I just think the whole thing is something that I'm not sure it's sustainable, and I really just don't understand the return on the investment for those, and thankfully that they do it, right, to help sustain the model that is currently being lived in. That's just the question that I have: is where's the return on the investment, other than your ego?
Well, since you're talking about the transfer portal and NIL and all that, Mike, one thing that is very obvious, Coach Drinkwitz has got a lot of work to do to replenish his receiver core. They've lost some guys to the portal, and they're a little thin there. So I would expect they'd be pretty active shopping for a couple of receivers. What do you think?
Well, and they were like that last year. Right. Kevin Coleman came in from Mississippi State and came home and has led the team in receiving, with 63 receptions this year. Xavier Lloyd is a guy that started his career at Power 4, went down to Illinois State, and now is playing his last year at Missouri. He's a guy who I think will probably start in the bowl game. To me, one of the fascinating stories is Logan Muckey, a young kid or I shouldn't say young kid, a senior who's playing the bowl will be his final game. He's the young man from Lee Summit that was diagnosed with cancer back during the summer and beat it. He's got one career reception. He plays primarily on special teams. His only career reception came against Iowa last year in the Music City Bowl. He's going to get a chance in his final game as a college athlete, a kid that's given his life and his soul to the University of Missouri throughout the course of the last 5 years, grew up, wanted to be a Tiger. He's going to get an opportunity, I would assume, to get some snaps on offense and maybe get a catch or two or three. And so to me, those are the fascinating stories that come out of something like this. Donovan Olubade, a young freshman from Chicago who's become probably Missouri's most explosive threat as the season progressed. He's a guy that, you hope to hold on to, moving forward. Demarion Folks is a kid that, hasn't really played much on offense, but a dynamic guy on special teams. Sean Terry, another young freshman who's got one catch on the season. He's a guy, too, that will get more opportunities, much like we saw Bernie last year when, Luther Burton opted out of the Music City Bowl. Then you got to see guys like Josh Manning and Marquise Johnson step into that game. So now you have another opportunity in this setting in the Gator Bowl against Virginia.
Yeah, and speaking of that Gator Bowl, a week from Saturday, that's when that'll happen against Virginia, Saturday evening, and Matt Zollers is going to be the quarterback there. So I know it's a little over a week out from that game, and there's already been a lot of developments as it pertains to the game and Mizzou, but what are your thoughts on the contest?
The teams are really, really similar. From an offensive standpoint, they both like to run the outside zone. Des Kitchens, the offensive coordinator at Virginia, was with Eli Drinkwitz at North Carolina State. Both have 1,000-yard running backs. Jamari Taylor for Virginia and Ahmad Hardy, Ahmad Hardy needs 68 yards in the bowl game to becomes Missouri's all-time leading single-season rusher. He needs 68 yards to pass Cody Schrader's all-time mark. And so, and from a defensive standpoint, both of these teams are pretty stingy against the run and hold opponents to just about 20 points a game. And so, it's hard to say exactly what to expect just because you're a week away. And Bernie, you covered the NFL for years, so you this document better than I do, but still to come out is the document on draft status of players that are draft eligible. So, that could, if that report comes out between now and next week, that could influence the decisions of a couple more players. Damon Wilson, Zion Young, Caden Green, just a few of those guys, and maybe guys from Virginia. So, it's interesting. You get to a bowl game and it's almost like getting ready for an NFL preseason game because you've got all these numbers in place and you don't know who's going to play and who will play.
Well, Mike Kelly, we are looking forward to it and looking forward to hearing the call. Appreciate you jumping on the show with us today. Thank you.
Man.
All right, guys. Hey, Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Take care.
Same to you, my friend. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
That is Mike Kelly, radio voice of the Tigers. And Bernie, as we hit the break here, why don't you tell everybody about our friends at Saliga?
Of course, I'm proud to. Saliga Heating and Cooling has been taking care of St. Louis families since 1927, sir. They're basically going into their 100th year, which I find is amazing. One family, 4 generations, Dan Saliga being the 4th owner-operator of this great family business. One family continuously taking care of generations of St. Louisans. I love that kind of thing. I just think it tells you everything you need to know about Saliga Heating and Cooling, because my goodness, do you think they'd not only be still in business, but still going strong and still getting more and more calls from new families to help them unless they were great at what they did and have been doing for nearly 100 years? Like I said, I love this. And we are a Saliga family, about 18 years now. And the one thing about the Saliga Heating and Cooling, this Daikin Comfort Dealer, nobody wants to have, something that needs fixing, your heating and cooling. Nobody wants to have to have an emergency and repairs and all that stuff. But every time we've had something go wrong, we always say, my wife and I always say, it'll be okay. Saliga's on the way. We're fine. They'll take care of everything because we trust them. They're knowledgeable, they're professional, and have just always done excellent work for us. So I'm happy to endorse them. And I would like to tell you, you should just go see all their services and find out more by visiting and getting the phone number by visiting SaligaHeatingandCooling.com. Thank you.
If you're trying to sell a home, there's only one agent in town that I trust, Mark and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty. My friends Mark and Neil have the best system to connect you to the best qualified buyers, getting your home sold fast and for top dollar. 314-336-1991. Go to thegelmanteam.com. Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. 2025 was a turning point for America. House Republicans didn't just talk about the challenges facing our country, we delivered real solutions. I was proud to stand beside President Trump to deliver historic tax cuts, secure our border, and eliminate waste, fraud, and abuse in the government. This year, my office helped constituents by solving over 500 cases and returning to them nearly $1.8 million. I'm Congressman Bob Onder, and I wish you a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-941-2255. That's 800-941-2255.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/life.
life.
St. Louis City SC is teaming up again with Enterprise to salute the people who make our city shine bright. The Exceptional Neighbor program presented by Enterprise is back, and now you can help us find the class of 2026. Nominate your friend, coworker, or anyone who's going above and beyond for the STL region, and they could be featured on the pitch during halftime. Go to stlcitysc.com/exceptional neighbor now through January 9th and tell us who you think deserves to be an exceptional neighbor. Presented by Enterprise.
Get ready for Thursday night football as the Rams face the Seahawks.
Siteman Cancer Center game time 6:30. Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer.
The Rams, the Seahawks, Thursday night football on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Just want to reiterate our excitement that Dustin May has decided to join us and become a Cardinal. We're really excited at what he brings to the table and the upside of this partnership, his youth and talent, and also the experience, the things that he's been through.
Ms. Chaim Bloom on a press conference today happened about 2 hours ago, maybe a little bit less than that. Dustin May officially introduced as a member of the Cardinals rotation. There will be tonight, there is Sports Open Line. Yes, 6 o'clock. Rush Hour Sports before that at 5 o'clock. Are we preempted?
Thursday Night Football tonight.
Well, that starts at like 7:15. Oh. So, whatever. There's Sports Pro. Oh, yeah. That's right. Rams are playing tonight. Rams and Seahawks, and that game's going to be here on KMOX, Bernie. And speaking of the Rams, you're familiar with Kevin Warren.
Yes.
Yeah. So Kevin has been hired by the Bears, and he's been there for several years. And it seems the biggest reason he's there is to help them get a new stadium deal. And they don't seem to be very happy with the state of Illinois for not ponying up enough. Whatever the incentives are they are looking for, they're not getting. And I don't know. Anytime there's a stadium deal, I can't help but think about what happened here. And Kevin Warren with some familiarity here in St. Louis as well, even though it's not it's not necessarily related. It's just I can't help but think about everything that transpired here. But there was a state representative in Illinois who there was a statement yesterday that was released by the Bears talking about, well, we may have to go to Indiana now because if you're not going to help us, we might have to pick up and move to Indiana and build the new stadium there. And this guy, Cam Buckner, out of Illinois, he said, quote, the McCaskey family, and the McCaskies own the team. He says the McCaskey family should focus on hosting a playoff game in a stadium that actually exists, not distract by pontificating about hosting a Super Bowl in one that doesn't. My Lord. The state of Illinois has no interest at all in helping the Bears build a new stadium, and I love that.
I do too. And listen, we all know that the public will get walloped whenever an NFL team builds a stadium because they never fund it themselves. Obviously, more and more they put money in it, but it's never enough. But the idea that the Chicago Bears, who are an iconic franchise and so synonymous with everything that is good about Chicago, you talk about a tradition and a history. The idea that they would actually play their games on the soil of not only another state, but a town that's not Chicago.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's just I like the idea of the state calling the bluff and saying, okay,
right.
Go do it. Because taxpayer funding does not work usually. It does not benefit the state. But no. We'll see what happens up there. It's very interesting. Bernie Miklasz, I know you're going to be on the Gashouse Gang tomorrow with Matt Pauley.
I am, and also the Rush Hour tomorrow with, I believe, Matt Pauley. So we'll be doing,
5 o'clock.
Busy boys. Yeah, that's right.
That's right. You be busy tomorrow.
Yeah.
You might as well get it out now before the holiday starts.
That's right.
That is Bernie Miklasz, brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin dealer. I'm Chris Ranji. Thank you for being with us today. So again, Gashouse Gang comes back tomorrow at 12 o'clock on 104.1 FM KMOX.